Ready to improve your English? Subscribe for expert guidance and practical exercises to enhance your speaking. Let's get going. When people hear me speak fluent English, they often ask, "How did you do it?" They expect a quick trick or shortcut. But honestly, my journey to fluency was far from instant. It was a series of small, consistent efforts that added up over time. Let me share my story and the secret I discovered along the way. The beginning. Growing up, I lived in a small town where English wasn't commonly spoken. In school, English was taught, but only in the classroom. Outside, I hardly had a chance to use it. I was shy and terrified of making mistakes. I avoided speaking in class because I didn't want to sound silly. But deep down, I admired those who spoke English fluently. It seemed like they had a superpower. One day, I decided I wanted that superpower too. Not for others, but for myself. The first step: listening before speaking.
He started small.
Every evening, I listened to English songs, even if I didn't understand the words. I found that music helped me get used to the rhythm and sounds of the language. Later, I moved on to podcasts and YouTube videos. I chose topics I enjoyed: travel, cooking, and inspiring stories. First, I only caught a few words, but I didn't let that discourage me. I kept listening. My secret here: I didn't focus on understanding every word. I focused on getting comfortable with how English sounded. Building vocabulary, one word at a time. I carried a small notebook everywhere. Whenever I heard a new word, I wrote it down. I didn't just memorize the word, I wrote a sentence with it or connected it to a situation. For example, if I learned the word delicious, I think about my favorite food. One day, a teacher gave me great advice. Don't just learn new words, learn phrases. Instead of memorizing thank and you separately, I practiced saying, "Thank you very much," as one complete phrase. My secret here: words are helpful, but phrases are what make you sound fluent. Speaking. The scariest step. Speaking was the hardest part for me. I used to overthink. What if I mess up? What if people laugh? But one day, I realized something. Mistakes are proof that I'm trying. I started small, talking to myself in the mirror. Then, I joined an online language exchange program where I could practice with native speakers. They were patient and kind, and I learned that most people appreciate your effort, even if you make mistakes. Gradually, I began speaking more in public. At a cafe, I'd order in English. In class, I'd raise my hand more often. Each small success gave me confidence. My secret here: speak early, speak often, and don't be afraid to fail. Consistency is the real key. The most important part of my journey was consistency. I didn't study for hours every day, but I did something every day. Listening to a podcast during breakfast. Writing my daily thoughts in a journal, even simple ones like, "Today was sunny." Watching a 5-minute video before bed. Some days, I felt frustrated. Progress seemed slow, and I wondered if I'd ever be fluent. But looking back, I see that those small, daily habits made all the difference. My secret here: fluency is not about perfection. It's about persistence. The turning point: one day, during a school event, my teacher asked if anyone wanted to volunteer to speak to a visiting guest in English. My heart raced, but I raised my hand. The words weren't perfect, and my voice shook a little. But the guest smiled and nodded, understanding me. For the first time, I felt the power of being able to express myself in another language. That moment reminded me why I started. Fluency wasn't just about impressing others. It was about opening doors to new opportunities, friendships, and experiences. Final advice: if you're on your own journey to English fluency, here's what I'd say. 1. Start small. Focus on daily habits, like listening to English for 10 minutes a day. Start small by establishing manageable, daily habits that gradually build up your skills over time. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by the thought of mastering everything at once, focus on something achievable like dedicating just 10 minutes each day to listening to English. This could involve listening to an English podcast, watching a short video, or simply hearing someone speak in English. By committing to a small, consistent habit like this, you'll improve your language comprehension without putting too much pressure on yourself. Over time, these short daily sessions will add up, and you may notice your listening skills getting stronger and your confidence growing. 2. Don't fear mistakes. They're a natural part of learning. Don't fear making mistakes. They are an essential and natural part of the learning process. Everyone, no matter how skilled they are, makes mistakes along the way. In fact, mistakes provide valuable opportunities for growth. Each mistake is a lesson that helps you understand what to improve and how to get better. Instead of seeing them as failures, try to view them as stepping stones toward mastery. The more you embrace mistakes with a positive mindset, the faster you'll learn and improve, and the more confident you'll become in your abilities. 3. Learn what you love. Whether it's movies, cooking shows, or sports, use English in ways that excite you. Learn what you love by incorporating English into activities that genuinely excite you. Whether it's watching movies, following cooking shows, or keeping up with your favorite sports, using English in these enjoyable contexts can make learning feel less like a chore. When you engage with content that interests you, you're more likely to stay motivated and curious. For example, you could watch English language movies or sports commentary, read recipes in English, or follow your favorite YouTubers or influencers. This approach not only helps you learn new vocabulary and phrases, but also allows you to enjoy the process, making language learning feel more natural and fun. 4. Be consistent. Even small efforts, done daily, will lead to big results. Be consistent by committing to small, manageable efforts every day. The key to improvement is not in sporadic bursts of intense work, but in the steady, daily practice that builds over time. Even if you're only dedicating a few minutes each day, like reviewing vocabulary, listening to an English song, or reading a short article, those small actions will accumulate and lead to significant progress. Consistency helps reinforce learning and creates lasting habits. Over time, you'll notice that your skills have grown, and the effort you put in every day will result in impressive improvements. 5. Celebrate progress. Every little improvement is a step closer to your goal. Celebrate progress, no matter how small it may seem. Every little improvement, whether it's learning a new word, understanding a difficult sentence, or completing a challenging exercise, is a valuable step closer to your goal. Recognizing and appreciating these milestones boosts your motivation and confidence. It's easy to focus on what you haven't mastered yet, but taking the time to celebrate each achievement helps maintain a positive mindset and reminds you that progress is happening, even if it's not always immediately visible. Keep track of your improvements and take pride in how far you've come. Each step brings you closer to fluency. Fluency isn't a destination, it's a journey. And as long as you keep moving forward, you're already succeeding.